Yes, this one. Okay. All right, can y'all see that? Okay, so this is how it started. It was a block of ice that was the second snowfall of the year. And that incense is dragon's blood. And those flowers are from one of my altars with one of my spirits that is very much associated with fire and like creatures of fire, like snakes and dragons. The green leaves are from a plant called witch's herb. It's a type of calancho that I grow in my apartment. And I like to add witch's herb to a lot of things. And that is a card from the Goetia deck that has Lilith on it. Since it was the full moon in Virgo conjunct Lilith, that felt right. And in the bottom of the bowl is some oils related to those spirits, and June, the offering cologne that you gave me, not the big one, but the little one for offering, is also in there. So thank you very, very much. Remember, I was like pouring out little bits into the water for the vases. Spirit finally told me, go ahead and offer this up to yourself, like in this bath. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Okay. So that is how it started. And then after the ice melted down, which I put it in the bowl around 8 p.m. and like 2 a.m. on the dot, it had finally melted down. And so I put a figure candle that I dressed. Hold on, where's that screen on my thing? I don't know if you guys can hear the crackling. She was talking to me. So that candle I baptized in my own name, okay, using Genesis 2. It's a particular way of baptizing an object and activating it and bringing it to life that I learned from one of my hoodoo teachers. Whenever I do this, I like to work with an herb called Life Everlasting. My mom told me that my grandmother would go out into the woods and pick it anytime they were sick and make a really strong but really disgusting tea out of it. So I always feel a very deep ancestral connection to it, but also it's called Life Everlasting. So what you can't see, you can see some of the flowers on the candle. What you can't see is the back of the candle. I have basically like packed the back with a bunch of Life Everlasting and breathed into it, baptized it, and used some of my own bodily fluids to bring this candle to life as me in this bath. And I added my rose quartz crystal to the bath for the healing energy, but also to let the crystal kind of carry on this bath every time I use it. So working that sex magic, bringing the energy all together. Okay. Then next, let's see. Hey, Nuri, welcome. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. I was just showing my bath from last night. Wasn't feeling the smell of the white sage. The family loved it. You can really burn anything, honestly. And there are so many other herbs that are also cleansing, like lavender, or you might really enjoy rosemary. Rosemary is probably my favorite. I burn way more. I do not burn sage very much in this house. During COVID, I burned it a lot because it's a very effective air antibacterial. Like if you leave sage burning in a room for an hour, you will kill off a lot of the bacteria in the air. So I was burning it a lot then, but otherwise I really don't. I burn a ton of rosemary though, and I make my own bundles because it's so easy to get organic rosemary at the grocery store and dry it out yourself and make bundles. So I burn a lot of rosemary. I love the smell of it much better than sage. It's incredibly mothering of an energy. And then the other thing that you might like that I really love and we have at the shop is yerba santa. And she's a very like thick resinous bush that has a very interesting smell. But something that I have learned about working with her is if you have crossroads spirits, if you have spirits that like to usher people energy from this world into the next, if you connect deeply with the dead and with the crossroads in general, you tend to really enjoy Yerba Santa. So, because of the spirits that walk with me, I really love it. And I didn't know I loved it until someone gifted it to me, and I was like, "What is this?" And they thought it was sage because they're like witch adjacent. They support my witchiness, so they will buy me witchy things, but they don't really do a lot of witching unless I like make something for them. And they were like, "Oh, I was at Catland and I bought this for you. I don't really know what it is. I think it's sage." And I was like, "This is not sage." And I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, okay, yerba santa. I don't know what this is all about." And then I tried it. Love it. That's actually literally what's right here. This is the bundle from the staycation. I'm still burning that. And we have a couple in the shop called Autumn Smoke. They have yerba santa with some flowers and orange petals, which is really nice. Okay, let's see. Next, I'm going to show you guys how this finished. So you guys saw how it was burning. Very interesting because I'm calling on my spirits that relate to snakes and dragons and the way that the candle opened up. And at one point was literally, you heard how it was crackling. At one point, it literally was just going and hissing like a snake. So like that snake dragon energy really came through in the candle, which was really cool. And then in the Goetia book, for the Goetia deck, there is a quote about, I think it was Dion Fortune, that said that manifestation requires a division of the one into the two. And that's what doing shadow work and working with your dark side is. Rather than going the route that Christianity encourages, where you ignore one side of yourself and try to become absolved in the divine, engaging in working with your shadow is a process of cutting the umbilical cord and separating yourself from the divine and being reborn as a deity of your own. It's self deification, essentially. And I thought that was really powerful and it really resonated with me. So it was really cool when this happened with the candles. I kind of dozed off. I tend to nurse my candles. I light them at night. I do a lot of magic with fire sign, and I'm a night owl. I do a lot of magic at night, and I will light them, and then I lay in bed and I kind of just watch them. Or if I'm doing my work at my candle that's in my living room, I'll sleep on the couch, and I just sort of like watch them, and I'll go in and out of sleep, and I'll have dreams, and I'll be like half awake, watching them partially for safety, but partially for messages, and it's like a whole thing. So when I do work at night, Nuri can tell you, we're supposed to open at 11. I did not show up until 11:05 at the shop. Luckily, there were like no customers waiting or anything like that. But I was so tired because I was up all night nursing these candles. But that one splits into two was very interesting and very powerful for me. And then check out what happened at about 5 in the morning. I think it was like 5:55. And I was like, okay, that's interesting because there is just one wick in this candle. So what is happening? And how are they so far apart from each other? Like as if there's two separate wicks. Like what is going on? Um, yeah. And then there were some interesting shapes in the candle wax afterwards, and like what looked like a snake on the other side. It was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. Spirit was just talking through these candles, talking through the whole work. It was wonderful. It's a really good feeling when you're casting something or when you're doing a ritual and you can, what's happening in the spell itself or what's happening with what you're doing is echoing what you're calling for. Because it's like immediate confirmation, which is really nice.